Hey fam, grab your popcorn because the hip-hop world just got turned upside down. 50 Cent, the king of stirring the pot, just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the streets to their core. In a shocking Instagram post, he called BMF kingpin Big Meech something nobody saw coming, a rat. But here's where it gets wild. These two weren't always enemies. In fact, they were once so tight they made millions together through the hit show BMF. Picture this. Just a few months ago, 50 and Big Meech were all smiles, taking photos together after Meech's release from prison. The industry celebrated their partnership, which helped launch Big Meech's son into stardom through the BMF series. It seemed like the perfect success story, until it wasn't. But what could turn such a profitable partnership into an all-out war? The answer lies with a mysterious woman named Tammy, a former power of attorney who apparently holds secrets that could change everything. And when you add in a St. Louis kingpin named Cuffy, who's been sitting in prison claiming Big Meech set him up, well, let's just say this story has more layers than a wedding cake. The streets are buzzing with questions. Why would 50 Cent, who's worth hundreds of millions, suddenly turn on his former partner? What does Tammy know that's got everyone on edge? And most importantly, could one of the most respected figures in street culture really be wearing a wire this whole time? Trust me, what I'm about to break down for you isn't just another hip-hop beef. It's a story of loyalty, betrayal, and secrets that's been brewing for over a decade. And when you hear what allegedly went down behind closed doors, well, let's just say the truth might be stranger than fiction. So, if you're ready to dive into one of the most explosive stories of 2024, stick around. Because what happened between these two power players isn't just changing the game, it's rewriting history. And trust me, by the time we're done here, you'll never look at either of them the same way again. Let's get into it. Let me take you to the moment that set social media on fire. Picture this. It's a regular day in 2025, everyone's scrolling through their feeds, when suddenly 50 Cent drops a bomb that nobody saw coming. There, on his Instagram, was a picture of a rat with a caption that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. "I think I'm Big Meech." But 50 wasn't just throwing shade. He was declaring all-out war. The post wasn't just your typical rap beef material. 50 went for the jugular, bringing up a mysterious figure named Tammy and hinting at secrets that could destroy Big Meech's entire legacy. And if you thought that was wild, 50 was just getting started. He doubled down with another post, exposing how artists were already pulling out of Big Meech's comeback concert on February 13th. Word on the street is that Lil Baby, one of the biggest names in the game right now, already backed out. Why? Because nobody wants to be associated with what 50's calling a super rat. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just about snitching allegations. 50 revealed that Big Meech was falling back into old patterns, surrounding himself with an entourage that was burning bridges faster than they could build them. The tea? Apparently, people in Big Meech's circle were running their mouths about Lil Baby, spreading stories about him pulling up in a Ferrari, but not breaking bread with Big Meech, as if one of the hottest artists in the game owed anything to anyone. This kind of talk didn't just cost them a performance, it exposed cracks in what seemed like an untouchable empire. But the real story? It's about this woman named Tammy. 50 kept bringing her up, teasing that she's got a docuseries coming that could change everything we thought we knew about Big Meech. And when 50 Cent starts talking about documentaries, well, let's just say he knows exactly what kind of bombs they can drop. And trust me, this is just the beginning, because what happened next would make these Instagram posts look like child's play. The real question isn't just about who's telling the truth, it's about how deep this betrayal really goes. You know what makes this beef so shocking? Just a few months ago, 50 Cent and Big Meech were the definition of a power duo. Their partnership wasn't just about business, it was about making history. When 50 decided to bring the BMF story to television, he didn't just tell Big Meech's story, he handed the keys to the kingdom to Big Meech's own flesh and blood. Against all odds and network pushback, 50 insisted on casting Big Meech's son, Lil Meech, as the lead in the BMF series. We're talking about a decision that transformed a young man with zero acting experience into a millionaire overnight. The show didn't just blow up, it became a cultural phenomenon, lining everybody's pockets with the kind of money that most people only dream about. Let's put this in perspective. When you're making tens of millions together, that's not just business, that's family. The kind of loyalty that should last a lifetime. When Big Meech was released to a halfway house, 50 was right there, pulling up for that photo op, showing the world that their bond was unbreakable. The streets celebrated, thinking this was what real loyalty looked like. But here's where things get interesting. All that money, all those handshakes, all those promises of loyalty, they meant nothing when the real drama started unfolding behind the scenes. Because while everyone was focused on the success story, something darker was brewing. Something that would turn these brothers in business into mortal enemies. Think about it. What could possibly make a man turn his back on someone who helped make him millions? What secret could be so explosive that it would make 50 Cent, a man who values loyalty above everything, completely switch up on Big Meech? The answer lies in a web of betrayal that nobody saw coming. And when you hear about the role Big Meech's brother Southwest T played in all this, well, let's just say family ties aren't always what they seem. Because what happened next would prove that in the game of power, even the strongest bonds can shatter. Ever wonder what it takes to turn a multi-million-dollar friendship into a bitter rivalry? Well, the answer lies in a simple photo that shook the foundation of 50 Cent's trust. See, it all started with Big Meech's brother, Southwest T, who made what seemed like an innocent move, posting a picture wearing the merch of 50's sworn enemy, Supreme's son. But in the 50's world, there's no such thing as an innocent photo op with the opposition. For 50 Cent, it's black and white. You're either with him or against him. After putting millions in the family's pockets, watching Southwest T cozy up to his enemies hit different. But that was just the appetizer. The main course of betrayal came when Big Meech himself stepped out of prison and made his first major move, linking up with none other than Rick Ross. Now, if you know anything about hip-hop beef, you know that 50 and Rick Ross have a history that's about as friendly as oil and water. The photos told the whole story. There was Big Meech, all smiles with Rick Ross, looking more comfortable than he ever did in those staged photos with 50. The contrast was stark. When Big Meech posed with 50, he kept it strictly business, straight-faced and formal. But with Ross, that was all family vibes. This wasn't just about taking pictures, though. In the 50's eyes, this was a calculated move that spoke volumes. Here was a man he'd helped build back up, turning around and embracing his enemies like long-lost brothers. The streets started whispering, was Big Meech playing both sides? Or was this his way of showing 50 that business was business, but loyalty was something else entirely? But here's where it gets really interesting. 50 Cent isn't the type to just throw around accusations without ammunition. When he started calling Big Meech a rat, he wasn't just firing blanks. He was sitting on information that would make everyone question everything they thought they knew about the BMF legend. And when you hear about the role Tammy played in all of this, well, let's just say the truth about who really betrayed who is about to turn the whole game upside down. Remember when they said the streets don't talk? Well, they're screaming now. A Street Lewis kingpin named Cuffy just blew the lid off what might be the biggest betrayal in BMF history. Picture this. A man who ran BMF's St. Louis division, facing 27 years behind bars, comes forward with a story that's about to change everything we thought we knew about Big Meech. At the center of this explosive tale is a woman named Tammy Cohen's, Big Meech's former power of attorney and the keeper of his deepest secrets. She was supposed to be working on a movie deal with Cuffy, but according to him, she was playing a much darker game. The feds wanted Cuffy bad, and somehow, Tammy seemed to know everything about his operation, right down to the routes and delivery times. Here's where it gets wild. Cuffy claims Big Meech and Tammy orchestrated an elaborate setup. They connected him with a plug named Suarez, supposedly to expand the business. But according to the paperwork, that connection was nothing but a trap. The feds were listening, watching, and waiting, all thanks to information that could only have come from someone on the inside. But why would Big Meech turn on one of his own? Cuffy says it's simple math, a movie deal worth millions and a potential sentence reduction for Big Meech. By taking Cuffy off the board, they wouldn't have to split the profits from the BMF story that eventually landed at 50 Cent's doorstep. We're talking about a $250,000 script that Cuffy claims he paid for, only to watch it slip through his fingers while he sat behind bars. The federal documents tell a chilling story of their own. confidential informants, DEA investigations, and a web of connections that all lead back to one thing: someone was singing like a canary. And when you see how perfectly it all lined up, how Tammy seemed to be everywhere at just the right time, you start to understand why 50 Cent might have been sitting on this information, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But here's the real kicker. Tammy's about to drop a documentary that could either vindicate Big Meech or destroy his legacy forever. And with 50 Cent already hinting at what's coming, you have to wonder, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Because what Tammy's about to reveal might make these allegations look like child's play. First up, we've got Big Meech, the legendary BMF boss who went from running the streets to becoming a Hollywood story. But his freedom might have come with a price tag that nobody saw coming. Enter 50 Cent, the mastermind who turned Big Meech's story into television gold. He wasn't just a producer, he was the bridge between the streets and Hollywood. With millions invested and his reputation on the line, 50 had every reason to keep Big Meech's secrets, until he didn't. But what made him flip the script so dramatically? Then there's Tammy Cohen's, and this is where things get really interesting. As Big Meech's power of attorney, she wasn't just handling paperwork, she was holding the keys to his kingdom. Think about it. While Big Meech was behind bars, Tammy had access to everything. Every deal, every connection, every secret conversation. She was the woman behind the throne, and now she might be the one to bring it all crashing down. Don't forget about Cuffy, the saint, Louis Kingpin, who's been watching this whole drama unfold from behind bars. He's not just another player, he's the living proof of what happens when you trust the wrong people. Running BMF's street. Louis' division meant he knew where all the bodies were buried, figuratively speaking. And now he's ready to dig them up. Last but definitely not least, there's Fidel Suarez, the trucking company owner who became the perfect pawn in this chess game. His role might seem small, but think about it. Was he really just a businessman caught in the crossfire, or was he part of an elaborate plan to take Cuffy down? Each of these players holds a piece of the puzzle, but here's the thing. They're not all telling the same story. And as their paths start to cross and their secrets begin to surface, one question keeps coming up. Who's really playing who in this game? Because when Tammy's documentary finally drops, and all these players are forced to show their hands, well, let's just say the truth might be more explosive than anyone's ready for. The hip-hop world is holding its breath, and for good reason. Tammy's upcoming documentary isn't just another tell-all, it's a potential nuclear bomb waiting to explode. Right now, Big Meech is living his best life, with every rapper in the game trying to get that photo op, trying to catch some of that legendary BMF shine. But all that glitter might turn to dust real quick. Here's the thing about street credibility. It's like a house of cards. One wrong move, one whisper of rat, and the whole thing comes crashing down. These rappers showing love to Big Meech, they're not there for friendship, they're there for the clout. And the minute Tammy drops her truth bombs, watch how fast those same celebrities hit the unfollow button. But here's what makes this situation even more twisted. Big Meech could actually be innocent. Think about it. What if Tammy's just a scorned ex-confidant, angry that Big Meech chose family over her when he got out? The problem is, in the court of public opinion, perception is reality. And if Tammy confirms what Cuffy and Blue Da Vinci have been saying for years, game over. The timing of 50 Cent's accusations is raising eyebrows too. He worked with Big Meech for years, made millions together, all while these snitching rumors were floating around. So why now? Some say it's pure revenge for Big Meech linking up with Rick Ross. Others think 50 knows something we don't, something that's about to come out in Tammy's documentary. The streets are already buzzing with theories. If you've got the alleged victim, Cuffy, the alleged informant, Tammy, and the alleged mastermind, Big Meech, all telling the same story, well, that's going to be hard to come back from. Even if it's not true, even if it's all an elaborate revenge plot, the damage to Big Meech's reputation might be irreparable. Because here's the cold, hard truth about the streets. They don't wait for proof. They don't need court documents or sworn testimonies. One solid rumor, backed by the right people, is all it takes to turn a king into an outcast. And with Tammy's documentary looming on the horizon, Big Meech's empire might be facing its biggest test yet. The real question isn't just whether Big Meech will survive this storm. It's whether the entire BMF legacy is about to be rewritten right before our eyes. So here we are, fam, standing at the crossroads of one of hip-hop's most explosive stories. What started as a simple Instagram post has unraveled into a tale of betrayal, secrets, and potential career destruction. The streets are watching, the industry is whispering, and everyone's waiting to see if Big Meech's legacy will survive what's coming next. Think about it. We're not just talking about another rap beef here. This is about a decades-long reputation potentially crumbling overnight. When Tammy's documentary drops, will it confirm what 50 Cent's been hinting at? Or will it expose something even darker that nobody saw coming? The game is about to change, and nobody's ready for the fallout. One thing's for sure. In the world of hip-hop, today's king can become tomorrow's cautionary tale. Big Meech's story isn't just about whether he snitched or not anymore. It's about loyalty, power, and what happens when the secrets we think are buried decide to rise from the grave. But here's the real question you need to ask yourself. In a world where everyone's got an agenda, who can you really trust? Is 50 Cent exposing the truth, or is he playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers? Is Tammy about to drop facts, or is this all an elaborate revenge plot? Listen, family, this story is far from over. And if you want to stay ahead of every twist and turn in this explosive saga, you need to hit that subscribe button on Tell It All right now. We're not just giving you the headlines, we're diving deep into the stories behind the stories, bringing you the real truth that nobody else dares to touch. Don't forget to smash that notification bell, because trust me, when Tammy's documentary drops, you're going to want to hear our breakdown first. We've got exclusive sources, insider information, and analysis that's going to blow your mind. Plus, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your theories about what's really going on between 50 Cent and Big Meech. Remember, in this game, the truth is never what it seems at first glance. And here at Tell It All, we're committed to bringing you every shocking detail as this story continues to unfold. Stay tuned, and most importantly, stay subscribed, because this is one story you definitely don't want to miss.